Hi, I'm Rob. Welcome back to TripleSArmory for another self-defense ammo test. Today we're pitting 45 versus 10 millimeter. And in our 10 millimeter, we're going to be shooting the Sig Sauer Elite Defense 10 millimeter 180 grain jacketed hollow point ammo. We'll take a look at that round right there. A Sierra bullet projectile, jacketed hollow point. And per the box, this round at the muzzle is rated at 1,250 feet per second. So that's our 10 millimeter offering, and we'll be firing that out of the Glock 29 Gen 5 with the 3.78 inch barrel. For 45, we'll be shooting Underwood ammo. This is their 185 grain plus P jacketed hollow point, uses a Hornady bullet. This is a newer offering from them in that they were out of stock of this ammo, this particular ammo, for some time. I have a box of their older stuff here, and if we can get the camera in here close, we can look at the difference. In my right hand, your left, we're looking at a shallow hollow point cavity out of the new 185 grain from Underwood, again, plus P. This is their older stuff there, more of a traditional deep-seated hollow point. So new stuff here, and it looks like a polymer filling perhaps in that jacketed hollow point 185 grain from Underwood. So we did test out the old stuff in a video we did several months ago, and it performed great. It did a wonderful job, and that was through ribs and pumpkin and whatnot. And we can put a link to that video if you want to take a look at it. So this new stuff arrived recently to stores, and I ordered some, and I'm looking forward to checking it out. So our test medium for today is going to be a boneless pork butt, followed by, we have 6 water jugs set up behind it. The pork butt is about 2.5, 2 3/4 inches thick. And on the face of it here, we have the FBI clothing barrier that consists of a layer of denim, a layer of fleece, 2 layers of cotton t-shirt. So we'll put a couple rounds through the chronograph from each of our offerings here, from the 10 millimeter, the 45, we'll get velocities, and then we'll get on with the test. So stay tuned. Okay guys, first up through the chronograph is going to be that 45 from Underwood's, 45 185 grain plus P, jacketed hollow point using Hornady projectiles. And I think I forgot to mention the platform for that, for the 45, is going to be a Glock 30 Gen 3. 2 rounds to the chronograph. Let's see what kind of velocities we get. .1075 and 1076. Okay, so that 45, pretty consistent stuff. 1075, 1076. Obviously not the 1200 that's advertised in the box. I'm sure they use 5-inch barrels for those. We're using the compact Glocks, 3.78-inch barrels in both the 10 millimeter and the 45 version. So still very consistent ammo, and the proof is in the pudding. We'll see how it does in the test. But next up, we have that 10 millimeter. That's the SIG offering, the Sig Sauer Elite Defense 180 grain jacketed hollow point. We'll see what kind of velocities we get on that. Now the box did say 1250. I'm sure we'll get significantly less out of the shorter barrel, but let's see. 2 rounds out of the Glock 29 Gen 5. 1155. And 1111. Okay guys, first up through our test media, which consists of the clothing barrier, the boneless pork butt, followed by 6 water jugs, is going to be that 45 offering from Underwood's, the 185 grain plus P through the Glock 30 Gen 3. Let's see what happens. Take a look. Okay guys, so what I was looking for out of that round, as any self-defense round, is 4 things. I like velocity, which translates to kinetic energy, that they go hand in hand, penetration, and expansion. So I believe we got plenty of penetration here, so let's take a look. Haven't touched anything yet. Our clothing barrier is on the ground here. Obviously a pass-through on that. Here is our pork shoulder, pork butt, complete pass-through, large exit wound out of the back of that guy. And we went through 1, 2, 3, and I believe, well, looky there. In between the 4th and 5th water jugs, we have our projectile, making it easy to recover. We'll pull that guy out. There we go. We'll take a look at this guy here. We got a ton of expansion out of that, or a ton of penetration out of that round, and it's because we did not get a whole lot of expansion. I would have expected a little more expansion out of that guy. But great penetration, good velocity. We'll test our 10 millimeter round from Sig Sauer, and then at the end we'll get weights and measurements on these guys. Okay guys, second half of the test here. Same test media, the layer of heavy clothing, followed by 6 milk jugs. This time the 10 millimeter offering from Sig Sauer. It's their 180 grain jacketed hollow point, and it was doing about low to mid 1100s through the chronograph. We'll see how it does through our test material here. Again, out of the Glock 29 Gen 5. All right, let's take a look. Okay guys, haven't touched anything yet. Like our 45 round, our clothing target was knocked off, and obvious pass through on that guy here. We'll take a look at our pork butt. And these were similar sized pork butts. The first one was 9.5 pounds. This is right at 10 pounds. And we have our entry here. Center top. Large exit wound out of the back. So complete pass through on our boneless pork butt. And then through jug number 1, which was eviscerated. Much more damage to jug number 1 than there was with the 45 ammo. That guy down. Big entry crack into jug number 2. And it appears we have an exit out of the back of jug 2 here. And hopefully we captured it in jug number 3. Crack in the front. No dent on the back, so we should be in jug number 3 here. And look at that, folks. It really doesn't get any better than that. It's perfect penetration into jug number 3, perfect expansion. I think I failed to mention earlier that Sig Sauer uses Sierra bullets they have for years, and they perform like that. So that's good stuff right there, Sig Sauer. So give me a second to get this cleaned up here. As promised, we'll give you weights and retained weights and measurements on these guys. I'll give you my final thoughts. Thanks. Okay guys, as promised, we'll get retained weights and measurements on these guys. The first round that we put through our test was that new 45 offering from Underwood, the 185 grain plus P. Started out at 185 grain. We lost some jacket there, it appears, and we're down to 180 grain. So not a ton of loss. Definitely within the acceptable margin. And then our Sig Sauer Elite Defense 10 millimeter jacketed hollow point, 180 grain. And not much loss at all, 178.8, so essentially 179. So great job, Sig Sauer Elite Defense. And measurements, we're zeroed out here on the calipers. Again, not much expansion on that Underwood round here. You can see that 0.5040, 0.5060, and we'll get one more measurement because we can at its widest point there. Well, perhaps that's not its widest point, but 0.5145. Not a lot of expansion out of that. Not a lot. So maybe it had something to do with the clothing barrier. I'm sure it had something to do with the new bullet design. And we'll talk about that a little bit here, but first let's get the measurement on the 10 millimeter round from Sig Sauer. Again, almost no weight loss, and we're at 0.6755. Again, 0.6675, and we'll get one more. Oh, that's about its widest point there, 0.6730 for that Sierra bullet from Sig Sauer. So through our test media, the clothing barrier, the roughly 10-pound hunk of pork or pork butt, 4 water jugs, actually out of the back of the 4th, almost entering the 5th, out of the Underwood 45 round. A little bit of over penetration in my mind. Perhaps it was that heavy clothing barrier. Perhaps it was that new bullet design that we pointed out at the beginning, the shallow nose cavity. I'm not sure. As I said, we did test their older version of this ammo that had the traditional hollow point several months ago, and it performed great. Massive expansion on that guy, over 85 caliber, I believe. So the jury's still out on this one. It did have decent velocities for a 45 caliber round. We were in the high 1000s, if I recall correctly. We just did not get the expansion that I wanted. Again, I talked about in self-defense rounds. For me, I like to see velocity, which translates into kinetic energy. I like to see penetration, and I like to see expansion. So we definitely got the penetration. I think maybe a little over penetration on this round. I think in clear ballistics gel, that would have been over 20 inches of penetration, roughly. And on the other hand, the Sig Sauer round performed as advertised. I mean, this, again, we'll get another close-up look on this guy, but picture perfect expansion. We went into, I believe it was, we made it through 3 water jugs, again, through our test media, no problem, zip right through it. In comparison to clear ballistics gel, that's probably about 17 inches of penetration, which is optimum, I think. And so, yeah, I mean, I would not be shy about carrying this if I was carrying 10 millimeters, my EDC. I would, no, it performs as it's supposed to. So great round. We did have one round through the chronograph. I think it was 11-11, so a little low for this. I've put this stuff through the chronograph in the past, and that round, I'm going to call it an anomaly, because this stuff is typically mid 1100s out of the shorter, the compact Glock-ish 3.78 inch barrels through Springfield XD compact, right around mid 1100s. So, 530 to 540 foot-pounds of energy that translates to. We'll put those facts and figures on here, and a little link in the video, a little blurb in the video, so you can see those. But there you have it. There's our test. I do want to say thanks to everybody who has subscribed. We really appreciate it. We appreciate it when you guys add comments. We're going to graduate here at TripleSArmory. We're going to move on from the milk jugs here. We've invested in the gel blocks and a little better radar system, chronograph system. And so we really hope you will subscribe so you'll be notified when new videos come out. And I hope you liked this video that we just did. I hope you gained something from it. If you did, please click like, subscribe, and we'll see you back next time. Thanks.